I'm your Jesus-loving and potty host, L.A. Sprague. Welcome to Christians with Chronic Illnesses.
Hi,
Hi! How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Microphone, like it's
Ooh,
got like thing on it.
that's so fun!
It like glows colors.
That's awesome. Is it working?
I don't know, I think so. Hello?
That's awesome, dude. Yeah,
Hello? The
yeah.
sound.
That's awesome. Your little, what was it?
The
Instantaneous
Amazon.
purchase. Yeah. Impulse
Yeah,
buy.
close
Hey,
by from like 3 years ago.
it came into fruition.
Yes, it has its purpose now. So I have my microphone.
Oh.
Make it's in Wisconsin. I made blueberry iced tea.
Wow.
Smells
Fancy.
very blueberry. I found it at a little store. There's like a little uh pharmacy near me that has some really nice, interesting tea. So I found it at the pharmacy.
That's cute. Dude, I made
Yeah.
something too.
Mm.
I know, we're so fancy. And I'm like literally, okay, little ASMR. I literally,
But
did you hear it?
I did not hear anything.
That's okay. I was trying to give
It's not picking it up at
I
all.
was trying to give ASMR with the ice.
Yeah,
Clink.
little like clinky clinky.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. Anyways, yeah, I
Breakfast
made
and some summer breakfast coffee ASMR, the clinking in the iced coffee.
I made a decaf mocha.
Ooh,
Iced mocha. Yeah.
we're jar buddies
Yes,
today
cheers.
too. I almost poured it out into a mug, but I stuck with the jar. No, I'm glad.
Yes, this is perfect. Well, thanks so much for
Oh man.
interviewing with me. How are you feeling today?
Yeah. I'm a little tired this morning. But
Yeah.
generally I'm feeling okay.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think this will be good. I'm gonna try to like bring all of the brain, bring all of the focus.
Hey, just be yourself. It's perfect.
'Cause I get like super spacey sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, during an interview I did a few weeks ago, I had to like lay down and just like, I hope they
mm,
don't think I'm rude. So, anyway, so I
it
totally understand
happens.
that. Okay, so Myra, why don't you tell the
Okay.
audience who you are, your
Okay.
name, what are you doing?
Hi, I'm Myra. I live in southern Wisconsin. Um, and I work as the director of operations at a small-sized church in the area. Um, I have two cats. And
Hopefully, we'll see them in the background today.
yeah, I know. We'll see if they come, if they show up. Um, and I love to paint and make art.
So cool.
Oh, thanks.
It is.
My little hair flip.
Your art is inspiring. It's
Thank
very cool.
you.
Do you have a like art social media thing or at all or
No,
what? This
I
could have
should
been your
probably start doing
chance.
that. I know, right? This would be my big chance to like get in front of the world. I don't know, maybe I'll do something later. I'll send you a link and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
Um,
fun.
but yeah, I haven't been putting stuff up on social media for a while, and then I decided AI is dumb and I don't want it to chew up and regurgitate my art. So I'm trying to
Oh.
figure out a way to like, I don't know if there's even a way to like post your art online without AI
Oh.
regurgitating it, you know?
Wow. Okay.
So otherwise I totally would. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
way to do it, not to see.
Right. Risky. I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah, I don't want my stuff to be stolen, but also I do art in a way that's kind of hard for AI to steal it and use it for anything.
Yeah. All right. So you're an artist, you create. What
Yes.
else?
Um, I love to create. I love when I have the energy. I love going for walks in the na
Mm,
in nature, and spending time there. I really enjoy cooking, again, when I have the energy,
yeah.
to make really good food. And I also really like writing poetry.
Oh.
Um, it's been a really nice way to express poetry specifically. My two-dimensional like collage and painting kind of art is good too, but poetry has been a really nice way to express some of the things that I feel through my chronic illness.
Mm,
Uh, and uh, um, as I come across new obstacles with my chronic illness, because it seems like,
mm-hmm.
it's never really a static thing. There's always new stuff,
Yeah.
as it conflicts with life. As life changes, the chronic illness like interacts with life in new ways that makes new problems. And it's,
Right.
yeah.
Aw. Are you good at like on the spot poetry, like spontaneous, like drop
No,
a
most
rhyme, Myra. Drop,
I can't I can't
drop
drop
bars.
I can't drop bars. But I could read a poem if you'd like to hear.
Hey, maybe
I,
later, maybe like after the credits scene,
after the
Myra's
credits,
poem.
we can leave a poem. Because I have one that I wrote. I actually started writing it very early on in chronic illness, my chronic illness journey. And then, after I kind of fixed my brain a little bit, so I could think better, I was able to kind of go back and expand on it, and turn it into something a little bit more, um, that just had more of me in it.
Yeah,
It started out as just 4 lines, and then I expanded it into something
yeah.
a bit more.
Dude, that's
So,
so cool.
hey,
Yeah. Okay, so creative, poetic. You work at a non nonprofit, a nonprofit org slash your church.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Okay, so you go to
yeah.
church. You're Christian. That's fun. Tell us about that.
Getting over this sore throat. Sorry,
No, you're good.
trying to not cough into like the mic.
You're good.
Um, so yeah, so I work at um a small church in the area. We it's not really small. We average probably around 100 people on Sunday mornings. But I mean that kind of depends on your perspective. Some people are
Yeah.
used to like 3 to 500 or even like mega churches or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of big from my perspective because I grew up in small churches of like 30 to 50 people. Um, yeah, so it's a uh Christian Reformed church.
Is that like
Um,
is that the same as like Reformed Baptist or is that different?
it's not part of the Baptist tradition at all. It came out of like the Dutch Reformed.
Okay.
It's the CRC. Actually, most of the denomination is in Canada. And then there's some churches in Wisconsin and Minnesota,
Okay.
and in Michigan. Actually, no, Michigan is like the hub. And then there's like Wisconsin and like Minnesota a little bit too.
Okay.
But in America, like I guess I'm learning all of this new. I'm completely new to the denomination.
Aw.
Um, but they're a little bit more traditional. But they still um I don't want to say too much because I feel like I'm going to misrepresent the denomination just because
You're new to
I've only
it.
been
Yeah.
doing this job for a year. And
Right.
so I'm still kind of getting to know things, but I've really been enjoying it. It's been nice. Um,
Would you say like you affiliate like with that denomination or is it like right now you're affiliated with the church that's part of that denomination or you're not sure because I know you
I
said you're new to it. So,
Yeah, well, I really see myself as kind of working for this church right now. I also attend. I really like the services. And at this point, I'm having trouble telling if that's a denomination thing or if that's a this church and this community kind of thing. Because not every church is representative of their denomination as a whole, you know? Some are just extra special and awesome, you know? And um I haven't really gotten to experience the rest of the denomination in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, uh I I grew up a lot in the Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
I also spent a lot of time around the Free Methodist church, which I actually preferred to my Baptist experience. Um, I really liked uh, a lot of the community and the people and the service style that I found in the Free Methodist
Yeah.
church, and like which is kind of like close to the Nazarene. We also had a Nazarene church around here too, which I
Okay.
really enjoyed um
Mm-hmm.
being a part of. But I have a lot of trouble affiliating myself with any denomination specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just as C.S. Lewis says, mere Christianity, right? There's a Christian heart to every denomination that pulls us together in a way that kind of the edge cases on a denomination just don't understand.
Yeah.
So, that we can at the heart of each denomination find these similarities that bring us together instead of pull us apart.
Yeah.
And I guess when I show up in a place, regardless of the denomination, that heart that C.S. Lewis speaks so well to, I think, in his books is what I look for more than anything. Even if there's a few like edge case beliefs that make me maybe even uncomfortable or confused
Mm-hmm.
that I don't understand as a part of their tradition. I find I look for that heart that speaks to
Aw.
mine as
Yeah.
a Christian because
Yeah.
we're all uh at the heart of it striving to be Christ-like.
Right, right. Trying to love
Yeah.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I've always found so like both bewildering and annoying and like frustrating is that like there are genuine Christians in every single denomination and
Yeah.
even I would say outside of denomination.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because it's like goodness like the same Holy Spirit is in all of us. And but what
Yeah.
frustrates me is that like why do we come to different conclusions like when we read the Bible? Like I just
No,
wish it were more
right?
clear, but I think God like has a purpose for our confusion. I think he has a
Mhm.
purpose for our
Yeah.
misunderstanding, and a lot of it too is probably just that we're human, right? Like our own
Hmm.
biases are going to go
Yeah.
into it and like but that's always like frustrated me, but also like it's kind of beautiful too. Like
Yeah.
we're unified but not like uniform. So,
Right? Yeah, because like I certainly there are prejudices and angers and frustrations that go into all of it. But I think that there's um like a wonderful diversity of thought that
mhm.
can show up when you have multiple denominations and leaving space for that diversity of thought and personality, you know, allowing people to have a space where they can do things a little different and to know that we have a God who's big enough for all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
He's not
has
a God
mercy for
who,
all of our misunderstandings.
yeah, mercy for misunderstandings, but he's a God who's big enough for all of our differences that we bring to him.
Mhm.
He's not a God who needs one kind of worship. He's a God who delights in the diversity of our worship and the
Yeah.
different things that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
Um,
Amen, Myra. That's good.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Sit here
so
and preach all day.
right. Okay, so beautiful. So you have a heart for pursuing God in,
Mhm.
the ways that you know best, and you also have a heart it seems for the church or for understanding our human differences and how we're all still a part of God's body.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, as you in your life are striving to know Christ and glorify him and be more like him, so So what does your relationship look like with him now? Because you mentioned, like you went to like a Baptist church mostly, and then some like
Yeah.
Free Methodist, and that's your, like your time in church and how that formed you. But also like in your personal life with your day to day, relationship with Jesus, what's that look like? Where are you standing in that, like figuring all that out?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, trying to figure out where to start.
That's okay. It's a relationship with God. That's a wild concept.
Yeah, I
So
know.
you can
Like, how
take
do
your
you
time.
explain something like that?
Yeah.
Um, there's a bug. Sorry. Um, I've never been I'm a little disorganized in my personal life.
Oh
I've
yeah,
never
you're an
been
artiste.
I know, I'm an artist. I've never been great at like going through Bible study books or um holding myself to regular schedules of prayer, even or reading my Bible as regularly as I should. Though I do read it, mostly by.
Nice.
But I love like just the feeling of walking with God, and this awareness that He is always by my side. Um, and more than and just this keen awareness that every thought in my head is something that He is also aware of.
Yeah. He knew
Something,
before you did.
yeah, He knew before I did that I am there before Him, you know, and that intimacy of my very soul just being open to Him.
Yeah.
Um, and that in any moment I turn to Him with my concerns, with my joys, with the beautiful flowers, with my tears, with um, the joys that I get from having my cats and the wonder of where He's brought me in my life. And I like to sit and like reminisce with Him about all of the places that we've walked through together, the opportunities that have opened up for me in just strange and specific ways that lead me on a path towards where I am right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um, I see Him as a wonderful, strange friend and um creator. I
Yeah.
connect a lot through creating and stuff as
Yeah.
well. And not only, seeing Him as a creator, as a peer, but knowing that He is my creator and then experiencing that same joy in the things that I make. Um, I don't know, it's hard to fully describe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sounds like your
yeah.
relationship with him is very experiential. Very like
Yeah.
walking with him and yeah.
Yeah, very
Aw.
experiential, very day to day, just and in fellowship too. I love being around other Christians and
Aw.
experiencing God's like d their perspective on God and the way they see Him and stuff. Uh it's really wonderful to have those kind of eye-opening moments where I sit and I talk and I speak with someone I know it's just walked their whole life with God um and they just have like such a wonderful piece to share.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really beautiful.
Aw. Yeah. That's so sweet.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I love that you love just like walking with him, and that a big way that you bond with him is like being like
Yeah.
him, creating as he created. That's so cool. That's very, very neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it appears that this God, Jesus Christ, who you walk with, has I don't know, deemed it, wrote it in your book of life that you would develop a chronic illness.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
so
Plot twist.
right. Oh, it's always
Yeah.
a plot twist. So many, Lord, the million, your millions and millions of plot twists.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Tell us what's
Yeah.
going on. What are you diagnosed with? And oh, you're good.
I'm very sorry. You're also getting a lot of vocal fry from me.
Oh,
Very sorry about. We're trying to hydrate.
that's okay. Drink all you need to.
I had COVID over a month ago, and we're still,
No.
you know,
Boo.
yeah,
Sorry.
with us. Ooh, COVID.
Well, I'm glad you're all right. Besides your vocal fry.
I'm all right. I certainly got out of it better than most people do.
Oh,
So, or better than
yeah,
many people do. I
yeah.
don't know about the percentage. Um, yeah, so chronic illness. Um, so that journey started for me, or at least I was kind of more aware of that part of my journey, about 5 years ago in 2020. Actually, it really kind of started in 2019, when in late summer, I kind of became aware that things just didn't feel right. I was more tired than I felt like I should be. I was really nauseous all the time. I was feeling dizzy and disoriented. Uh, a lot of just confusion about like where I was, my thoughts, how things were going. So there were a lot of different levels. There was very much like a physical, and there was kind of a mental aspect to it.
Mm,
Um, and late in November of that year, I was actually in Canada. I was studying abroad in Canada. It was my senior year. And I was just finishing up my study abroad for the fall semester, in November, and it was like I felt a switch go. And suddenly the nausea cranked up to 100,
mm,
and food was painful in my body.
mm.
Um, and it was really hard to eat.
Wow.
And I made a habit of making myself vomit,
Mm,
to try to cope with how much that it hurt. Um, but from that point on, the end of November of that year, it just continued to get worse and worse and worse. It was sort of the beginning point, that I kind of see. So I made it home, and then everything fell apart in the rest of the world as well.
right.
Australia was on fire. And so through January, and February and March, I had as many doctor's appointments as I could squeeze in.
Mm.
I got a colonoscopy, I got an endoscopy, I did a thing where I had to eat radioactive scrambled eggs.
Whoa.
I know, it was really weird, but I had to eat them and then sit in this room for about an hour, and then they would come and take X-ray images of me every so often to see how it was progressing through my digestive tract. Because I know, but like we couldn't figure out why it was so painful for me to eat. Um, but apparently everything was fine. Well, and this is right. A lot of people with chronic illness will relate to this. You go through all the tests and tests and tests and tests, and the doctor's
Everything's
like, "Well,
fine.
nothing's wrong. The
Yep.
test results say that you're doing great." So I don't know what you're complaining about. I mean, they don't say that, but that feels implied.
Yeah.
Like the doctor would never say that. Um, and then you get passed along to the next test if they're kind, and if they're just kind of getting a paycheck, they kind of leave you hanging.
Yep.
Um, so I did that for a while until all of the hospitals kind of shut down and were exclusively focused on COVID because that was the thing. Um, and I worked at Target sanitizing carts. You're welcome. But after a while, I had to stop. It was turned out to just be too much. Um, Standing. I also worked at cash register. And after a while, I remember that specifically that there was a day where I was standing at my cash register waiting for customers on like a Thursday at mid-afternoon. And I had my arms down and my elbows locked on the counter and I was like leaning on them because I was so weak that I couldn't stand and I was
Wow.
having trouble like connecting in my head what was going on. I was really kind of disoriented and exhausted, probably disoriented because I was exhausted. And this woman who was at the other cash register looks over at me and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm just having trouble standing." Like it was no big deal. And she's like, "Go home. There's no customers. We're in the middle of a pandemic. In the middle of the week on a Thursday, we're not going to get a customer rush."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay, let's go." So I left and went home, and that was kind of the beginning of me realizing I needed to quit my job.
Yeah.
It was time. Um, I I I cut back hours first, and then I was like, "No, I just need to be done with this."
Yeah.
So I quit the job. Fortunately, I was staying with my parents at the time, so I had support.
Yeah.
Um, but then I just kind of dedicated myself full time to figuring out what was wrong with my body. I tried several different diets. We did, I did like a FODMAP diet for a while, and it didn't really have any effect. And I did an elimination diet for a while. I don't know if you're familiar with those at all. FODMAP is specifically it's for a specific kind of chronic illness, and if it had worked, it would have kind of shown what
Right.
you know,
Yep.
there would have been a clear answer then.
Right.
And an elimination diet is essentially where you remove everything food-wise and you spend 3 days drinking liquid and broths and smoothies,
Okay.
very basic, boring food. And then you slowly add things back in. And then if you react badly to one of those things, then you know that it's an allergy or a sensitivity, at least, even if it's something that wouldn't show up on an allergy test, maybe you just have trouble digesting it or something. Um, but that really didn't do a whole lot for me either, unfortunately. Um, and by that time, we were able to get doctor's appointments again. And part of the problem that I had had at that point is that my primary doctor was refusing to give me the blood tests I need to prove that I had a chronic illness, an autoimmune disorder specifically, because I had just had those tests the year prior, um, looking at antibodies and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, clearly something has changed.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I think this is it. because there was such a huge family history and she just wouldn't do it. So I ended up changing primary doctors. Um, and my new primary allowed me to get the tests. And that kind of, I know,
Thank God.
I know. It's like it could have been so easy. I don't know why she was dragging
Yeah.
her feet about it. Um,
Wow.
but I finally got those tests. Um, and I was able to go in to see a rheumatologist because I couldn't really get an appointment with a rheumatologist unless I had the confirmed positive test, you know. Um, and I think that was just something to do with my insurance or whatever, because
Mm.
I know it doesn't work that way for everyone. Um, and honestly, I had put so much effort in. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to get access to medications and opportunities that like therapies or whatever that could help me cope with the situation. And I got in there to my rheumatologist and he had nothing for me
Mm.
or very little for me. He prescribed me hydroxychloroquine. He didn't do any more tests to see if there were secondary issues going on. And said that the hydroxychloroquine might help me in 3 to 4 months. And it was honestly the most horrible thing. Um, it was just horrible. I had banked so much on this. I'd put so much
Mm.
effort. I'd spent the entire year trying to get to this point where I could find some answers. And the person who was supposed to give me the answers had none for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Very disheartening.
yeah, very disheartening. Um, and at the rate at which I was falling apart and losing my faculties and
Mm.
my strength, um, we started having really serious conversation about long-term disability. Um, and me and my parents did.
Yeah.
They were unsure how long I was going to last in a
Mm.
lot of ways.
That'd
Um,
be so scary.
yeah, it was really scary. I was very depressed, so depressed. And I was getting more and more tired. I was sleeping about 17 hours out of 24. But it wasn't good sleep, you know. It was very restless and that sick kind of sleep. That's so frustrating. Um, and so I kind of pulled in, I guess, a Hail Mary uh for the colloquialism. Um, I knew of this woman who was a dietitian. I had heard about her through other like church friends and stuff. And my older sister, who also had a chronic illness, had seen her for a while. Um, and she kind of specialized in helping people with mystery chronic illnesses that um, you know, no one else could really help.
Yep.
And I was like, that's me.
Oh.
And so many other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're
Um,
listening, you may need help.
yes, this is
This is a
this
sign.
is you. So I went to see her. She took one look at me and was like, you might be the worst patient I've ever had walk in here. Um,
Thanks.
but yeah, but she's like, but hope is not lost. If you are ready to work incredibly hard, we can do this.
Dang.
And I was like, I am out of options and I don't want to die. So, that's what I did. January at the beginning of 2021, I dove into the what she could offer me because there wasn't really anything else. And so my life turned into maintaining an incredibly strict diet and just lifestyle regiment around what kind of and how much physical activity I did, how much food I ate, when I ate it, what kind of food I ate. And then I would get plans for about 10 weeks. It'd last for a 10-week period. And then I'd reconnect with her and we'd look at blood work and she would observe me in other ways. We would do some medical massage work and then she'd take time, write up a new plan with new nutritional value, and then I would do that for the next 10 weeks. So the idea was that it's a combination of the medical massage that kind of allowed your body to receive the nutrition, and then a custom made nutrition packet that gave your body what it needed so that things could hopefully get better. And they did very, very slowly.
Oh, wow.
Uh, while my rapid decline started to grind to a halt, and I kind of held in place for a while, and then things started climbing up. Um, and I gave myself a carrot at the end of the stick. At that time, I was like, I'm gonna do this diet for now, but I need some kind of incentive because
Yeah,
the
some
was
reward.
gonna yeah, right. The diet was gonna isolate me a lot. And um my chronic illness was isolating me a lot. And so I applied to grad school, which to some people might sound like a very odd, an odd reward.
Right.
But it meant connecting with other people and it meant giving new purpose to my life. It meant that I could redirect and find a new place for myself in the world. Um, sort of a rebirth kind of thing. I was coming back. I was finding my life again.
Yeah.
It was it was really terrifying and exciting and painful experience. And there were a lot of highs and lows. It certainly wasn't a direct upward, like everything got better each day. I had a lot of, you know, downward spirals still, but I kept going up and up and up. In the long term, even if in the short term things got really painful and frustrating, um, I found ways to remake myself through a new education, through a new lifestyle, through renewing my understanding of where I was in the world and what it felt like God's plan for me was. And I've kind of stayed with that um ever since. And I'm still doing it today.
Yeah.
It's not done. Um, and it might not be for a long time, but I still see her every 10 weeks or so.
Wow.
We plan. Um and I move forward from there. Um, and I've been able now to get I mean, I've seen 5 rheumatologists, including that first one, and I finally just found one that will listen to me and will,
Yay.
I know, it
Dude,
was
that's
really exciting.
awesome.
So I'm still like doing all of that stuff
Yeah.
because it's important.
What,
Uh,
5 years in, you just found a
yeah, I
rheumatologist that'll
know, 5 years
listen? And
in.
wow.
If I had just sat around waiting for or
Yeah.
trying to like switch through rheumatologists, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not good.
So what did you end up being diagnosed with?
Sjögren's.
Sjögrens.
Correct. Say that. Yeah. In some ways, almost to me, it feels strange that that's all I was diagnosed with.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sjogren's can really affect some people very badly,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone
Affected
with a,
quite as much as you.
yeah, as bad as mine.
Yeah.
But I mean, just snooping around the internet on my own, I
Mm-hmm.
can't really find anything that matches what I experienced. And now that I've improved so much, I don't know if I'll ever find out what
Right.
happened really.
Yeah.
Because you can't, I can't be observed in that state anymore.
Yeah.
It's been probably 2 years since I felt that bad
That's
now.
awesome.
Exciting. It's so
Yeah. Thank God, Myra.
exciting. Not 2.5 years. Because I've
Wow.
been for almost about five.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
know.
so at its worst, okay, well, maybe explain a little what is Sjogren's? Like
Yeah,
what is it in your
the baseline.
body? Yeah. And then how
Yeah.
does that what are the symptoms?
So Sjogren's affects your lymphatic system, which is immune stuff, but also how your body manages all the fluids in it.
Which is pretty important.
So
We're made up of how much
yeah,
percentage of water? A lot.
like what between 65 and 70,
It's a lot.
a lot. Um,
It's important.
yeah, it does a lot for you. It all of the fluids in your body are how you get nutrition to the different parts of you, and
Yeah.
that so it can affect your blood circulation. You can have a lot of trouble managing your body temperature,
Mm,
either being too hot, too cold.
yeah.
Your mouth dries out really easily, which
Yeah.
can be really bad for your teeth. Speaking of.
Yeah. Right. Right. Drink break.
Um, Sinuses, ears, eyes,
Mm.
all the different face holes. They, they interact with the world in a way that different other parts of your body don't, so they can dry out more easily. Um, but yeah. And well, and interestingly, I mean, because autoimmunity is usually your immune system attacking
You.
a different organ, right? Like
Yeah.
lupus is like skin and kidneys are like and depending like usually there's the specific organ or whatever that tends
Yeah.
to cause it. But Sjogren's attacking the lymphatic system, which does the fluids, but also is kind of a part of your immune system. It's just your immune system like literally punching itself in the face,
Yeah. Oh.
which I always found a strange dark humor in. Because it's literally like to stop hitting yourself. But
Why are you hitting
the more you
yourself?
hit yourself, the more agitated your immune system becomes, and so the more it's going to hit itself. And yeah,
Wow.
it's just like a never-ending party.
Cycle. Yeah. Party.
At least that's the way I saw it. If there are any doctors out there, please correct me. But
If
all
there are
I
any
know is,
doctors out there, you should let me know if you want to talk.
yeah, hit me up. Oh, yeah. Because that's just my extrapolations from, reading
Yeah.
all
I
the
know
different
you I know you
articles.
also mentioned like issues with like digesting
Yeah.
and weakness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are kind of the mystery parts of all of this. From time to time, I have a lot of trouble walking randomly.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll just fall over out of the
Yeah.
blue. But it's not
Wow.
quite like a POTS thing. It's not very free.
Right.
Um, and it will usually come with like a whole episode of like issues.
Yeah.
There seems to be a connection between certain mental health problems and yeah, so
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting.
Have you done much research on how the vagus nerve is connected to the brain and the body and how mental health affects physical health? Or I
I
don't
haven't
know.
done a lot of research. I know that there's a lot of stuff coming out right now about that. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm like right on the edge of medical science here.
Yeah.
That well, and things like how things like emotional trauma and different experiences can change your DNA
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Um,
So cool.
and
I
have
mean,
a
bad but cool.
what's that?
So it's so cool, bad but cool.
I mean, yeah, bad, strange, and it almost yeah, it totally reframes uh so many things in life for me. Um I'm glad that medical science is kind of finally getting on this train, but this idea that the line between the physical and the non-physical as who we are isn't as clear as we may have liked to think,
Yeah.
especially in Western cultures. And now that we have scientific proof for that, I think is fascinating. And it makes sense, why a lot of people with chronic illness end up turning to alternative medicine or more Eastern medicine and finding a lot of really good results. Um, because I think especially for chronic illness and stuff, uh, there can be a lot of emotional impacts
Yeah.
to that. Have you read the body keeps what is it? The body
The
keeps
body
score.
keeps the
Yeah,
score.
body keeps
Oh,
yeah, the body keeps score. That's what it's called. That's the one that everyone throws around all the time
right.
about these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Uh, that the idea that you these these things come with you if
Yeah.
you don't find a way to handle them,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. Okay, so you said that you've kind of found yourself again. You've kind of found life again. You're working what, a full-time job at a
I
church.
know, yes.
Incredible.
I'm so excited.
Really incredible. You finished your masters or you're doing your
Yeah,
masters?
I finished my
Yeah,
master's.
you finished your masters.
I
So
know.
so cool.
What?
So
What?
so for those right now suffering with Sjögrens, maybe they're at their beginning phase, maybe they don't even know they're
Mm,
having it, but they really identify with a lot of the symptoms you expressed.
yeah.
Or maybe they're just in the midst of like the hardness of it. So you talked
Mm,
about how you went to like what was she? You said a dietitian who specified in like kind of out
yeah.
there chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, maybe can't afford that. So I don't
Mm,
know, like what,
really expensive. Oh my gosh.
yeah. So what do you feel? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say a lot of my student loans went straight into my
Man.
managing this. There's no
Oh.
way I could have afforded it when it first started.
Oh.
But partially because around that time I was, funny story. They skimped on my student loans initially. For some reason, I was given like a student loan package that an undergrad student would get,
Oh,
which is obviously not enough for
a
grad school.
master's, yeah.
At a master's, they charge you like double. And I complained a lot. I just kept sending them emails, and they responded like, everything's fine. And I'm like, no, not everything is fine. Give me my money. And then miraculously, they just, gave me the money without saying anything.
That's
And it ended
awesome.
up being a little bit extra, I think, just to keep me, make
Yeah,
me stop emailing them.
that's awesome.
And so all of that went into paying
Wow.
medical care.
Health, yeah.
For it.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, that's a
Okay.
fun little side story. So
Yeah.
if you don't have enough money for medical bills, everyone, go to grad
No,
school.
no, no. Wait. Wait, there has to be other resources. Disclaimer, I do not endorse this message. No, I'm glad that worked for you. I'm glad that worked for you.
Oh, it kind of just ended up where I certainly did not do it on purpose, but
Right.
like I just kind of ended up working out.
Right.
But yeah, so if I mean having a personalized dietitian or dietitian create personalized plans for you is very expensive.
Yeah.
Um, the woman I worked with was is also a Christian and she runs her
That's awesome.
situation more like a ministry and gave me
Oh,
an obscene discount as well,
dude, awesome.
which was really helpful. But I think a lot of what helped me um, in what she offered was regularity in my life. She things like regular bedtime, waking up, meal times being super regular.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
you know, the amount of fluids that I drank, all of those kinds of things were just incredibly regulated. And I think having that regular pattern in my life,
Yeah.
which was hard, I had to put a lot of effort into making it happen. But
Yeah.
once I got into a rhythm, I was able to flourish around the
Wow.
sides.
Wow. Sounds like
And
you have to have a lot of boundaries too.
yeah, creating
Yeah.
those boundaries.
Wow.
I cannot tell you how many things I missed out on.
Mm,
I missed out on friends. I've lost friends because I
wow.
had to prioritize my health and they did not understand.
Yeah.
I have missed out on social opportunities. I had to stop going to church for a couple years because I
Mm,
didn't have the energy for it.
yeah.
I had to grind everything else in my life ground to a halt, so that I could
Stabilize
just
your
focus on
body.
myself, stabilize
Yeah.
my situation. Yeah.
Wow.
And then it can do a lot for you. It's hard and it seems on the surface it seems really small, but I think it can be very helpful.
Yeah. So tell us about what has been the most. I mean, I know you said that with the kind of diet every 10 weeks you kind of switch things up. But
Yeah.
what do you feel has been the most helpful kind of rule of thumb with food? Like, are there
Mm,
more helpful foods to eat? Are there foods that are more triggering?
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Organic is worth it, I think. I know a lot of people will say that it doesn't really matter. But if you have a really sensitive body, a really sensitive system, I would say organic is worth it. I am really careful about washing foods that come in. Variety is important in the foods that I do eat. Um, and making sure that I'm not eating foods that are anywhere near spoiling.
Okay.
Right. If you have like a stronger system and a stronger body, maybe you can kind of push those boundaries. But like I can't let anything sit in my fridge for longer. After it's been, I'm not talking like fruits and veggies, but like if I make a meal and I want leftovers, it has to go in the freezer. I can't let it sit in the fridge for more than 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to freeze it, and nothing sits in the freezer for more than a week,
Wow. Okay.
usually. There are a few things that I leave, like meats and stuff, sometimes will sit in there. I also don't generally buy things from the store that have been pre-made. And this is the hard part because when you're sick, you don't have energy to make
Yeah, to
stuff.
cook.
You want to
Yep.
buy the easy thing, right?
Yes.
But if I found that especially a lot of health foods will have such long ingredient lists and stuff. And I don't know how they cared for those ingredients before they made the thing. I don't know how long this box of crackers has been like hanging out in a warehouse and stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of eating like a box of crackers, I will buy like almonds. Because as soon as you take something and you grind it up and you process it, it becomes more susceptible to things like mold and spoiling and stuff, especially like almonds um, or other kinds of nuts. Once you grind those up, they're just on like a micro level. They're just very susceptible. Um, So a lot of like very raw whole food, I guess, kind of
Yeah.
is what I carry
Yeah.
with my diet.
Can you give like what's one of your staple meals? One or two.
Mm. Um, so I do fish a lot. I have salmon. Making homemade pesto is actually really easy. So this is kind of
Really?
like my treat. Yeah, this is my treat meal. So I'll
Okay.
have like the pine nuts from the store. Buy the basil and the garlic and if you want, you can put some Parmesan in. I tend to avoid cheese, not entirely, but I just don't eat a lot of it. Put it in a food processor with olive oil and just grind it and it's done. And then I slap
Nice.
it in a piece of salmon and put it in the oven for 20 minutes. And it's amazing
Wow.
with rice or mashed potatoes or whatever.
Okay.
And it tastes really good. And you guys
Awesome.
sprinkle some salt in there too, just to accent the flavor. But it's a really, really good, really quick meal.
Yeah.
Um, Let me think what else. I do pasta. That's a really good, easy one. I have a specific brand of pasta sauce that I buy.
Do you know what
Um,
it is?
I could go grab a jar right now.
That's okay.
Um, but it's in a glass jar. I buy
Okay.
it in a glass jar. This is something else fun. If you have a sensitive system, you might be reactive to things in metal cans.
Wow.
Because, yeah, so food that goes into metal cans, this is something that's a big thing for me. The metal can gets lined with a substance. I'm not really sure what it is, but it helps the food not stick to the metal can, and it helps it come out real easy, so you can just kind of dump it out. However, I mean, it's technically safe. It's not like against the FDA or anything. But if you put tomatoes, which are very acidic, in that metal can with that substance, it can start to pull it off the sides and get mixed in with the tomatoes.
Yeah.
And then you eat a lot of it. So you
Wow.
can actually look it up. Canned tomatoes in a metal can is one of the most toxic things you can buy off the shelf at a grocery store.
Wow.
Um, uh, so I always buy anything tomato based in a glass jar. It's a little more expensive, which is hard, but
Yeah.
try to like make it last.
Yeah.
But it makes for such an easy meal. If I get my rice noodles, because rice is something, unlike nuts, rice is something that stays stable as you grind it.
Okay.
For like flour and stuff, it
Huh.
stays stable longer. Um, um, so yeah, diet tips, but I avoid like a lot of the big ones, like no gluten.
Yeah.
I don't do any caffeine.
Yep.
Um, I do drink green tea, but green tea doesn't really have a whole lot in it. Most of the tea I drink is herbal.
Right.
And I generally do no sugar.
Okay.
Although like sugars in fruits and vegetables are
Right.
okay, right? And people underestimate apple juice. Like I have some really great muffins that I make, and I just put apple juice in it, and they're delightful.
Wow.
Yeah, like you don't, America, I'm speaking to you right now. You don't need sugar. Everyone tells you you need sugar, and you don't. It's a lie. It's there's so many sweet things in the world that aren't sugar. You don't need sugar cane.
Hear that, America? All of America.
Hear me now. Oh man.
Okay, so
Um,
then when you are
yeah.
having a flare up, because I presume you still have them,
Yes.
like you're,
Had
often,
one about a month ago. It's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah, and it seems that you have some ongoing symptoms like fatigue.
Yeah.
I know that you're very protective of your time. So, what do you do when you're having flare ups or major fatigue to feel better?
Well, I love having my cats around because we take naps together.
Oh,
We're napping buddies. Um,
It's cute.
I love to lay in my bed and there's a window in there. And I've put a lot of some of this isn't stuff I do in the moment. It's things that I've put effort into over the
Oh,
years.
okay.
I
Yep.
put a lot of effort into making my space a one that I can delight in. So that when I'm stuck at home, it's something that I can find beautiful, even if
Yeah.
I feel horrible and disgusting and gross. I can lay in my bedroom and I have this painting on the wall next to my bed that I can look at. And I have my cats, and then I have books next to my bed. And on my phone, I have an app with like funny web comics and stuff that I
Aw.
read. So I like reading those a lot when I'm not feeling well. Um, and so I'll make sure I have my water or tea and lay down and rest as best I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
for as long as I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes that means, um, taking time off of work, which I know is hard and isn't an option for everyone. I happen to be a person who doesn't have kids, uh, and I don't have a spouse or anything, so I don't have anyone that I have to take care of. But I also don't have anyone, immediately on site who's taking care of me. So there's like a
Right.
plus minus to that.
Right, for sure.
Um, However, my church family has been really awesome about, text us so we can pick up groceries for you or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
seriously, dude.
yeah, it's really awesome. We have a couple nurses in the congregation, and so like they get it. Um, they're very keenly aware of what how I'm looking on Sunday morning, which is just really sweet. I mean, part of it helps that I've had a few like episodes and like breakdowns on Sunday mornings. So it's very much like, pay attention, everyone. I'm gonna
Oh.
fall over here right now. And yeah. So
Yeah.
but they've been really a blessing. And my parents as well. I don't live too far away from my parents,
Yeah.
which I did by design because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna need some backup. And
Yeah.
they've been great too
That's
about offering
awesome.
help when they can.
Yeah. So it sounds
Yeah.
like having social support is very important.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. It's hard to build up, but it's very important.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you're able to find a supportive church. That's
I
really, really
know.
beautiful.
It's hard.
Yeah. So now we've heard about your relationship with Christ. We've learned that that's a very experiential thing for you. And we've also
Yeah.
heard a bit about your journey, what it was like to get diagnosed, and what's helping. And so now I'm curious with your chronic illness being, I don't know if you would agree, but probably a big part of your life. And with your
Yeah. It's pretty big.
and with your faith in Jesus being a pretty big part of your life, I'm wondering how those have intermingled.
Yeah.
Has your illness affected your relationship with Jesus? And vice versa, has your relationship with Jesus affected your illness?
Yeah. Um, yeah. And yeah. Ooh. Yes.
Okay.
That's a short answer. I can safely say I've experienced a range of emotion in my relationship with God as I go through this. There's been a lot of anger and confusion. Um, I don't think it's something I've gotten to bring up yet, but in college I studied technical theater, which is a very physically intense line of work. Everything is hard in technical theater. Lots of lifting and walking and carrying and moving and pushing and building going on. And I really had felt led to that. Almost as a mission front for me because I had seen people in theater and technical theater specifically as sort of society's rejects.
Mm.
A lot of people find themselves pushed into the arts and then into theater and stuff as a way to find a purpose and something interesting with their life. People who have very strange minds, that don't fit in an office,
Mm.
and don't and aren't always welcome in church. And theater has been, and live performance especially, has been very looked down upon by the church for many years in different ways. And especially women in theater um, throughout theater history have been on par with like prostitutes.
Mm.
So it was some place and an area that I loved working in, but I was also excited to just get to go and be a kind person and in that area and be a kind Christian to some people who had never met a kind Christian before. I had a lot of interesting discussions with people about that kind of stuff. But then, right after college, right out of college, I got sick. It was immediate. And in fact, there was overlap. I was just finishing my degree. I barely finished. And there was this confusion in me for a long time of that God, I thought this is a place that I could do good, and represent you and represent the church in a positive way to people who are our neighbors in America, which we like to think of, or we tend to assume has been very permeated by Christianity, but people who have been very rejected, and by that culture.
Yeah.
And that was just a really hard thing to come to terms with because I had felt pulled in that direction very specifically. Theater was the first place I had an opportunity to step into leadership and really come into my own too. So there was a lot of like my personal worth that was connected to um being in the theater, that like this was a
Mm.
place where I had really grown up and come
Yeah.
into my own as a young adult. I had learned what I was really capable of and that I was a strong person. And then my chronic illness came along and it was like, okay, we're going to test that now. Um, and
Wow.
um, see what does that really mean to be a strong person, you know? Um, and so I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of grief and sorrow over losing not just something that was my passion, not to dismiss a passion, but something that I had seen as I had felt was God's passion for me. And what I had to sort of come to terms with is that, yeah, maybe God pulled me there, but maybe it wasn't for the reason that I thought. Um, I had felt a very clear pull in that direction, as when I was looking for colleges. And maybe just it wasn't for the reason that I thought, because I started doubting myself. I was like, am I just making stuff up? You
Right. Yep.
right? Um, and so um I found that there were new things that I could learn. Like, because you finish college feeling pretty good about yourself, you're like, I learned all of this
Yeah.
stuff. I'm so smart. I'm on top of the world. I'm gonna go get that job. Um, but I think it was, um, I mean, the chronic illness was very harsh. There's a lot for you to learn, and that the things that I needed to learn weren't something that I could learn in a classroom. and they weren't something I could learn through a mentorship. It wasn't something I could learn even by going to church. And it wasn't something I could learn, by sitting and like meditating in nature or whatever way you want to learn something. There were lessons I had to learn, and the only way I could learn these things was by experiencing this chronic illness.
Wow.
And I think as much and as frustrating as all of this has been, I like the person that I am now better than the person I was before I became.
Wow.
And I don't want to say necessarily that like all of my chronic illness was great or like it was a good experience or I'm glad that I got my chronic illness because I don't know if I can really say that honestly, but I do know that I like myself now. I know so much about myself. I've grown in my patience. I learned how to love myself and take care of myself, which is something I didn't know how to do before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I I learned so much about human biology. I I I learned how to rely on other people, how to ask for help.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh, which is honestly very counterculture. Like, we live in a world where being independent is so important. What do you do independently? I learned to find my worth in something that wasn't work. The things that I do with
Girl.
my
You
hands,
speaking to the
right?
choir, yeah.
The things I do with my hands are not what make me who I am.
Wow.
Um, I am just me. And I don't need to prove that. I don't need to get gold stars, and A pluses and to know that I
Yeah.
am myself
Yeah.
and that I am a human being who's worth it, who's worth caring for. And to kind of prove that to myself, I think this is really something I had to go through
Yeah.
badly, but I was in a place where I wasn't able to understand that at that point in my life. And I feel sad for that past self that she didn't know. But I'm so glad that I know now and that I can kind of reach back to her in the past and let her know you're worth taking care of. I'm worth taking care of. And so is everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So a lot of that you kind of just had to learn through the experience of your chronic illness.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
said, very experiential.
Yeah. So it sounds like
Like,
a lot of anger, a lot of
yeah,
confusion, maybe even some
yeah.
self I don't know if deprecation is the right word, but kind of blaming yourself,
Yeah.
doubting yourself,
Oh
but
gosh, yeah.
then realizing that maybe God was using this to teach you things that you couldn't have learned any other way but to be in
Yeah.
it. And now, on the outside, I mean, you're still in it, right?
It's still
Like,
here. There's still a lot for me to learn and figure out, but um, you know, sometimes, I mean, in what I said, I focused a lot on like the learning, but sometimes this is just, what you've been given and to carry a burden um with joy, not happiness, but with joy and humility, understanding that this isn't forever,
yeah.
that there is a place for us at God's table, um, and everything that that table brings with it.
What do you mean by that? Like,
The new kingdom, the wedding, a new body, connection with God, as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in like the most intimate way that we just can't have now, you
yeah.
know.
Okay, so um you talked about how there is that future to come. There's
Yeah.
that future intimate relationship with God that we'll get to
Yeah.
have that we don't have now, or at least not to the fullness. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, right now, as you live, your human life, like here on Earth, in an imperfect and fallen world, what do you think, like, I'm not so sure I know how to ask this question, but
Mhm.
how do you personally, like, I don't know if enhance that relationship with God is the right wording,
Mm.
but when you've struggled with him, when you've been angry with him, like, I don't know, what would be your advice to Christians with chronic illnesses listening who are trying to, maybe wrestle with God in their relationship with him?
Mm.
They want to love him, they want to be like him, but they're really struggling to understand
Yeah.
him with their chronic illness. So I don't know. How would you just encourage Christians to relate to God? Because there's a lot of perspectives on, like, well, you shouldn't be angry with God. There's a lot of perspectives
Mm.
of, like, you
Yeah.
can always be angry with God. Like, I don't know. Like, what's your take on that, or what would be your advice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think that God wants to have your most honest self before him.
Hmm.
Um, whatever, whoever, wherever you are, to be able to bring that to him is our adoptive right through Jesus. Um, I think that that's kind of part of the whole package deal. And the idea that we are working towards that place someday, of the kingdom and being, with him fully in that capacity is something that we should strive for. It's not something to just wait for, but something to anticipate and reach out
Hmm.
for and to desire it. Um, and um, you know, we it's a lot of complex theology that my brain just sped through. I'm gonna table that. Um,
Fun.
um, I went through uh a couple of years that were really dark like that, and I still revisit that from time to time. And like I talked about, food and stuff, it's important to take care of your physical body. It's important to find ways to take care of your spiritual and mental health as well. And those two can overlap a lot in some ways. But in those moments where I was confused, I think allowing myself to just feel that anger towards God and that frustration and stuff meant I was still talking to him. If you don't, if all you're feeling is anger towards God and you allow that to stop the conversation, then you're not in conversation with him anymore and you're starving yourself. In a lot of ways, I think it can be spiritually painful. And life comes with ups and downs, and your spiritual life reflects that in a lot of ways, not necessarily as a direct replication of the ups and downs of your physical life. Because sometimes people who are down, they feel God the most in those places. Sometimes when we're down, we feel like God isn't there at all.
Yeah.
Um, but there is a certain kind of reflection between your spiritual and physical life that you can see. Um, and it's hard to explain exactly. But in those moments when you don't know what's going on around you, no matter what your feeling is toward God, to know that He's still there. and that you can still bring things to him, no matter what that thing is. Like, yeah, go scream at God. Like, you're still having a conversation with God, and that's the point.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
Something else that I've found for myself is to keep beauty in my life. Um, what that means, can get a little complicated, but like plants have a potted plant around.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, right? That also helps with the regularity, right? And you're also caring for something else, and that can
Mm,
reflect towards the care for yourself. Because plants have to be watered regularly in order to maintain that beauty. And there's a reflection of yourself and watering yourself and the beauty that needs to be maintained there. And sometimes you just need a little extra, with your chronic illness. I also like to have art on my walls, things that I find interesting or beautiful to look at. Um, you know, I like to um find beautiful things to do. Things like creating gentle walks, because you don't always have energy for it. Very short walks, but just to get out and see the world and see the beautiful things that are around me.
yeah.
Um, even if even if it's just a memory or something that you can see and you can hold in your mind and remember um the beautiful things in the world. It's so easy to get lost in a dark place and to forget that just because in this moment, because we're so tethered to time, in this moment, everything feels dark and horrible. But there are beautiful things out there always,
Yeah.
and there always will be. And to know that you're one of them. And even if things aren't working out the way that you think they should or that you want them to in this immediate moment, God thinks you're beautiful,
Aw.
and wonderful, and fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Aw. That's so cool. So it sounds like being your most honest self with God, because He knows anyway.
mm,
Have that a continual conversation. Don't let the anger stop you. And then
yeah,
also focus on the beauty that He's given you in your life, including that's in yourself.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Stunning.
yeah.
I think that's lovely advice.
Thank you.
So I had another question. When we were initially talking, you
Mm,
had said that one of your, if I understood correctly, one of your like desires for your episode of this podcast was to kind of push against the I don't know how you word it, something like the narrative of chronically ill people feeling abandoned by the church. So
yeah.
my question for you would be, there's a lot of people listening that go to church that are Christians,
Mm,
maybe are pastors, maybe are leaders, maybe just are congregation members. I don't know. And, there might be a lot of people that don't understand chronic illness, that have trust issues with it. I'm not sure. Or there might just be people listening because they want to love their Christian friend. So, my question for you, Myra, would be, in your mind as a chronically ill Christian, what advice would you give to the church of how to love chronically ill believers
mm,
well, or even chronically ill unbelievers, just
yeah.
people,
Yeah.
permanently
Whew.
sick people? How do we?
How do we fix this problem? Oh man. Um, I think listening to people's stories is important.
Listening?
Yeah, listening is hard, but not just listening to hear, but listening to understand actively, choosing to understand and hear and comprehend what a person is going through. I think that's always a good place to start. Um, but even before that, I think church is a really hard place to bring the broken parts of you. Um, or the parts that seem to be broken, the parts that seem to be unacceptable. Um, we live in a place where as an adult, your job defines you. If you have a chronic illness and you can't work a job, how do you connect with other people? You
Yeah.
know, your family is another big definition for people as individuals. If you are too sick and you can't have a family, how do you connect with other people? Um, those are kind of the problems that I see uh going on. I Chronic illness doesn't look bad on the outside always, right? And Jesus talks about judging people based on their heart and by like observation and like being with a person and knowing who they are, right? That's like God's whole thing. He knows you. And as humans, it's really hard for us to know a person. Um, but taking time to know the people around you just off first, you might discover that someone is not doing as well as they appear to be doing. Most people who see me have no idea um, that day to day I experience really horrible fatigue. I still skip events on the regular that I would love to go to. There's a cute kids play last night I really wanted to go to, but
No.
I knew I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
And if I went, I was going to have serious problems.
Yeah.
Um, so finding ways to connect with people, talk to them, and hear their story. And then if you find someone in your life in the area who has a chronic illness, just be open to the strangeness. It's a strange and mysterious and peculiar and surprising journey, um, especially for the person who's sick, but as well for the people around.
Yeah.
Um, be ready to ride that with them. You know,
Yeah.
if they have to keep you at arm's length, don't take it personally. They have stuff that they have to deal with. And in order to be um, happy, healthy, and functioning, maybe, 2 or 3 times a year when they connect with you, the rest of the time they have to retreat into a cocoon sometime. So just be understanding of that.
Yeah.
This has been a huge mess of verbal vomit. Um, so I guess what I'm trying to say, if we were to summarize, like be aware of the people around you, you know, don't be afraid, to listen
Yeah.
to their stories and their experience. Don't ride the wave of assumptions. Um, and if someone in your life tells you that they're very sick, believe them, even if they don't look like it. Just have the decency to believe that they're not doing well.
Yeah.
And make yourself available for when they need to ask for help. Give them a phone number to text, tell them, have a conversation with them about what you can do that would be helpful in their life. And they might not have an answer for you
Right.
at that moment, but just saying that and just having that conversation means a whole lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's good advice.
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully you can pick through some of that and find a good something to add.
That's perfect.
Wow.
No, it's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for interviewing. Do you have
Welcome.
any last one? I don't know. Do you have any last thing you would like to say? Any
Um,
final message?
could I read my poem? Is that still
Yes.
okay?
Yes. You can read
Let me
your
pull it up.
poem.
Here, I have it on my phone. So just as a preface, I guess, this is a poem that I started writing uh in January of 2021.
All right.
Um, right probably at the darkest part of my chronic illness.
Okay.
This is at my very sickest. I was it non-functional. Um, it was a very, very dark time
Mm,
in my life, probably the darkest to date.
mm,
Um, I didn't know who I was, sort of metaphorically, and also I was having some trouble literally.
yeah.
Um, I I was very suicidal.
Mm,
It would look like I would never um get better.
wow.
Um, there was just kind of no hope
Yeah.
in this place. And um I know that there are a lot of people in that place. And I would love if this poem could give voice to what you're feeling and to know don't feel like you have to rush to feeling better. You feel horrible, and that's valid, and that's
Mm.
okay. And you don't have to put on a smile for anyone. So this is this present mind. I'm gonna drink some tea before we start.
I'll join you with the water on my side.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. My clarity washes up at high tide, clinging to the moment. Pointed rocks bite, and brittle plants cut the wind. A hollow serenade to the indifferent waters. Here and gone, awake and asleep, in and out. Who will I be when it doesn't return? I remember these pebbles were once mountains. Time's ocean is no friend to them or me. Why? Why must it take myself from me? Yet the tide recedes with relief. I slip away to muddled reverie with no hold on my memory, waiting for the simplicity of evening dreams. For there a shadow tells stories to my grief. For only in my rest will I ever be. For only in my rest I will ever be.
I wanted it to keep going.
I know. Maybe we'll write another stanza.
Right. Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Mara, thanks so much for being willing to be
Thank
vulnerable and
you.
share your story. And I really, really hope that people listening are encouraged and inspirited in their health journeys and their faith. And I hope you too feel like you had a yeah, I hope that you feel seen and encouraged, and I have no doubt that God will use you and in all that you're going through.
Thank you. It's you've offered me a wonderful opportunity to speak and to share and to connect with other people, even though they're far away, far beyond the reach of me otherwise. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, thanks so much, Myra.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being a part of the Christians with Chronic Illnesses community and for tuning into our podcast. Please follow, rate, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Patreon. You can also follow our socials at CWCI Podcast. If you're interested in sharing your God-given story, we'd love for you to email us at cwcipodcast@gmail.com. This podcast cannot substitute for medical help and is purely for encouragement and entertainment. Please see your doctor before trying anything mentioned on this show.